This video is going to show you how to create a MySQL database. And yes, it's pronounced MySQL, not MySQL. So the next time you're at a dinner party discussing databases, and frankly, why would you be at a dinner party discussing databases? But that's a different story altogether. Now you won't sound so much like a dork. It is pronounced MySQL. Many applications or scripts require the use of databases to manage a boatload of information for them to work properly, and knowing how to create a simple database will save you time and money from having to hire somebody else to do this very simple task. Well, simple once you know how. I've got a little bonus for you close to the end of this video, so don't go anywhere until the video finishes, okay? Okay, let's get started. Oh, and be sure and have a notepad or pen and paper handy to copy some of this info down. It's going to come in pretty handy. Now, we log into our cPanel control panel. Come on down here to Databases. And right here under MySQL Databases, you just click on that. And there's going to be three things you're going to need to copy down. That's the name of the database, the name of the username, and the password for that username. So, starting at the top, working our way down. We want to give the database a name. Now, this is the prefix, which is going to be part of the database name and database username, but we're not going to need to enter that. It's already part of the whole mix. Let's just give it a name and click on Create Database. See? Pretty simple so far. And that's the name of our database right there. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that down into a text document. And by the way, these three items, that being the database name, the database username, and the database username's password, these three items are what's going to be required for most scripts that are requiring the use of a database to be able to connect that database to that script. And that's what I'm going to demonstrate for you here at the end of the video. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that, add that to a text document. Now, for simplicity's sake, what I usually do is give the username the exact same name as the database name. And so far, I've never run into any problems doing things this way. So, hey, if it ain't broke, why fix it, right? So, coming on down here, I want to give the username a name. And I always use the password generator to create a very strong password. So let's just click on that, and if I'm not happy with that one, which I don't know why it wouldn't be, but if I wasn't, then I can click on this to generate a new one until I was happy with a nice, hard to guess password. Copy that into my clipboard, check that box there, click on Use Password, and it tells you right there you've got a 100 by 100 very strong password. Click on Create User. I'm going to go ahead and paste that password right here because that's still in my clipboard. And the username, again, is the same. In this case, it's the same as the database name. Now, you don't have to do that. You can give these two guys here totally different names. Again, I'm just doing this for simplicity's sake, and frankly, that's the way I always do things. Go back. Now, we're almost done. We've got the database name created, we've got the username created, and we've got a password for that username. Those are the three items that we're going to need to assign this database to function with a script. But we need to assign this user certain abilities for that particular database. So to do that, we want to come on down here, Add User to Database. And you can, in fact, add different users to this same database, but that's beyond the scope of this video. Right now, I just want to add this user we just created, Test, to this database that we just created, Test, and click on Add. And we're almost done. These are the various privileges for that database. Now, there are some scripts, very few, but some scripts that only require you to have certain permissions or privileges for that database to work for that username. Most of the time, I just don't want to come back here later on and add a particular privilege. So I just check that box right there, give them all the privileges. Again, unless specifically telling you not to, I just go ahead and grant all privileges to that user for that database, click on Make Changes, and we are good to go. Go back. And we're done. That database is created. It's got a username created. That username is assigned to that database. And if you ever wanted to get rid of that particular user, click on Delete. If you ever wanted to get rid of that database, click on Delete. Now, if you want to totally clear things out, you want to delete both, that being the database and the user. Now, as you can see right now, that database is completely empty. Let's head on over to our PHP admin to take a look at the inside of that database. And we come on down to the databases panel, and that's the PHP My Admin right here. Now if you have several databases created, then they're going to be listed for you over here. And this is the one I want to show you right here. This is the one we just created, and there are no tables to be found here. Now what I want to do is I want to import tables that I exported from a WordPress installation. And if we come on back here, let me show you. This is a WordPress database that's fully stocked. These are the various tables, and some of these tables have items. Actually, all these tables have something in there. Well, most all these tables have something in there, and that's what we're going to almost replicate. So I'm not exactly sure where this WordPress site's located at, but if we come on back here, that's what it's going to look like here in a second for this guy. Now I want to import the SQL file that I exported from a previous installation of WordPress. So I click on import, and I want to leave all this stuff pretty much the way that it is, especially if the file I'm going to be importing is an SQL format and not one of these other guys. And I know that it's an SQL format. So right now I want to choose file, navigate to the location where I've got that SQL file, then select it, click on open. And you see right here in this particular instance, I've got a maximum file size allowed of 50 megabytes. Sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more. Just depends on your web hosting company. And then once everything else is set up the way that I want it, and by default most every single time it is, click on go, and it's doing its thing. It's populating that blank database with all those tables from that imported SQL file. And as you can see down here in the lower left corner, you got the progress going. We're almost completed. And import has been successful. Got 247 queries executed, and here we are. We can see all the various tables that were imported or created from that imported file. And come back here and look at the structure. There you go. And that's how you can not only create a MySQL database, but how you can import an SQL file to automatically populate that database. That's going to bring us to the end of this video on how to create a MySQL database. Thanks for watching.